So I'm going to start with personally, I've fangirled over this woman. Oh gosh, probably I'm aging myself. 20 years of my career. She's a California girl. We have the privilege of bringing on Miss Cindy Ertman, the powerhouse behind the defining difference. Cindy's been named one of the top the top 100 mortgage loan originators for over a decade, and one of the top 100 most influential mortgage executives in America. 5 years running. She's built a $200 million production team. In fact, I think at one point she had a $1 billion production team. And it's expanded, more than 20 thriving branches in the retail world. She actually started as well and had a very successful stint in the broker world. So she can see things through both lenses. Through her coaching, mortgage professionals are scaling to seven-figure successes, closing over $100 million in loans. I had the opportunity to attend one of her masterminds where I got to see it and taste it with my own experience, because I know who she is. I've known who she is, but I really got to walk the walk with her. You will find alongside me that she is somebody that we want to completely support and bring in for not only women, but men alike. And we'll talk about that here. So please, let's welcome Cindy Ertman to the stage. Welcome. Hello.
My gosh, thank you, Julie, for such a warm welcome. And listening to your story, I just got chills all over my body because of what a rough season that was. We actually had to close our company during all of that. It was really, really a rough season. So I could feel you through the screen here, Julie. And I just have to say, it has been truly such a genuine personal gift as someone who's known you from afar for so long to be able to, really form a friendship with you. I have such mad respect for you as a leader. And I'm an energy person. So I just love your energy, and you exude this positivity even through rough seasons. And getting to know John, and we sort of bonded on the personal development side as well, which is where I think our greatest growth occurs. So I just want to say thank you. It's just a gift to be part of this community. I'm so excited about this upcoming Views and WMN event, and just really, really excited to support the participants and to support you in any way that I can.
Well, I'm excited. Thank you. I'm excited to bring you to the forefront. I think you're also great friends with Christine Beckwith,
yes,
if I'm not mistaken.
So.
And over the years, she's like, Cindy. I'm like, I need to get with that Cindy. So I love that we can just make room, right? Because she's been a wonderful coach and been a leader of AIME for so long. And now she actually is making room to bring you in, and I'm making room to bring you in because you've got a lot to teach. I want to ask you something, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because what I find so fascinating is your clients don't just grow a little by working with you. I mean, I know I was at that mastermind, but your clients like quadruple their growth by working with you. Can you tell me a couple maybe of the attributes of those clients, and maybe a couple of your successful strategies for those clients, for people who don't know you?
Well, I think when people get into coaching, and particularly the group that you attended, which was my high-level mastermind group, that was my reunion retreat that we do once a year. But I think the people that come into that group have already reached a certain level of success. Most of them have been in the business a fair number of years, and they've kind of gotten to a place where they're stuck. Like they haven't been able to push through that glass ceiling anymore, and they haven't been able to, and they call me typically and be like, I know what got me here isn't going to get me to the next level. And I'm really stuck. I don't know where to go next. And what I'm hearing a lot from many potential clients right now too, as well as my clients, are, hey, our referral partners, many have left the industry. They're doing a fraction of the business they used to do. I've been in the business a long time. How do I build new referral partnerships? And how do I reinvent myself in this new world? And that was one of the things in my mortgage career, and I'm sure we all experience this, is you come to work every January and you're like, oh boy, here we got to do it again, right? Can I gear up to do this again? And particularly if you're coming off a great year, and I had a few of those for sure. And you're like, gosh, I got to, but I would come into every year, and I would do traditional business planning for our branch and my personal production business. But then I would sort of look at it and be like, how can I really create this year in a way that's going to reinvent myself and pour additional value into the people that I serve? So I think in coaching, mortgage professionals, I really do believe in the blending of tactical strategies that move the needle, and really getting people clear on What are their greatest strengths? What are their company's greatest strengths? What do we want to shine a brighter light on, and how to do that? How to really elevate you in a really big way through language and through getting clarity around what's most important to you, and then getting people clear on the value that they can bring to their partners. And when we get that clarity, these light bulb moments happen. And I think too, when people can get out of working in their business and get away from it and work on it, they leave with such a different level of clarity as to how they can build and grow. And the beauty of a mastermind group, as you know, is you're collaborating. And I love collaboration in our industry, because to be successful as a team sport, any way we slice it, we can't do it on our own. And it's a tougher business today. So to get new ideas and fresh ideas from the collaboration of others, and we're all sharing information as to ways to be successful. The number one thing that drives success really, though, is working on this first. It's mindset. It really starts there. One of my top producers that I coach, she'll hit over 200 million this year. And she said, I fully believe in my own business. It's 60% mindset and 40% skill. And I work on mindset every single morning. And that's how I start my day. And I do the same, because we're pouring into people all day long, and we got to bring our best self. So it's that integration of professional development skill set with really working on how do we keep this sharp and be able to show up as the best version of ourselves for our team and our clients and our referral partners, and keep that new and fresh and excited energy alive. Because Julie, you've gotten to know me pretty well, and I still have a passion and love for this business that permeates out of my cells, and I can't help myself.
Well, and by the way, just when you speak, everything in my nervous system relaxes. I mean, there is, it makes me kind of misty, because there's room for all of us. You know what I mean? I'm a little more scrappy, and I've always wanted to be graceful like you. I'm probably never going to match that, because you are you, right? And I need to just be me, right? And that's a lesson. Like your presence in my life allows me not only to be fully seen. You're just so magical in who you are. I also want to talk about you. What you touched on was kind of the doing of mortgage, but you're also so big on the being, right? Because I think that the different generations of women are like, if you say grind time to a young 30s, there's something in them that kind of switches, right? But you're very powerful in bringing that power of being. Can you speak to that a little bit in terms of the doing versus the being? And I'm also going to have you lean in a little bit in the woman's world on that, because that takes a lot, being a woman, right? And hosting a family and being moms. And I know you're big with the men. In fact, I almost, if I go back to the mastermind, you probably had, gosh, it was probably 50-50 with the amount of men and women.
Are about 50-50, 50% men and 50% women. And it's funny, because every time someone goes, well, maybe you should just coach women, I'm like, but I get such, like, we've had such success for the men who haven't been exposed to some of the things that we teach. So that's been really, really cool to see men really transition from their thinking brain, really getting into their heart and connecting with people on a deeper level, which then explodes their business in a big way. So, but I love bringing gifts to both. And I think the differentiator for me, and I go back to the name of my company, because I did not name my company The Defining Difference. That name birthed itself to me, and I decided to just trust and not change it. But I spent a lot of time really thinking about, okay, what is the defining difference? Like, why was I given that name? Why was I asked to trademark that name? And it took me a while, and I'll get emotional if I start to talk about it too long. It was a process, but the reality is the defining difference is a choice. And the beauty is that when we don't like the way our life or business is going, when something is not working in our life, we have the ability to wake up tomorrow and make a different choice. So the whole premise of the defining difference is intentional choice. And I teach it at a very core level, because, you know, if you don't like, if your health is going in a negative direction, then we got to get really intentional about your health, and you've got to change your choices. It's all about choice management in terms of success. I was on the phone with a leader yesterday, an originator, but a successful leader. And he said yes to like 85 things. And suddenly he's drowning in all the things he said yes to. And he's focused on all the wrong activities, and his business is plummeting. And it's like, he's not making the right choices to build and grow the business, which is what he desires. So I really help people get clear on the choices they're making. And, you know, as an originator and as a leader, we have to focus on income and relational activities because that's what moves the needle.
Mm-hmm.
So helping people really get clear as to how you're spending your time and what's serving you, and what's serving you in the context of what you're doing. Is it serving your client base? Is it serving your referral partners? Is it serving your past clients? Is it serving your team? Because sometimes we just have to get intentional about the choices we make to move the needle.
I love that. I love that. I would also like to just tap into a little bit of your mind work, right? Like, so this is probably, when I look at my body as a whole, the most toned muscle in my body for certain. Sometimes I wish I could push it down a little bit into my body and my stomach. But tell me, what are some things that you do to keep your mind, as Mateen would say, your mind right? How do you do that?
Certainly, we talk about morning practices, and I think that got drilled into my head through lots of coaches that I've had throughout the years as well. But I think when you start to develop that muscle, because anything is a muscle, right? We have to consistently do something, and then we fall off the wagon. We have to get back on the horse. But I do take an hour a day, every day. My team would tell you it's a non-negotiable hour. And when my kids were young, I raised 3 kids on top of all the craziness of running a $1 billion branch and being a $200 million originator. I had a lot on my plate, and family was terribly important to me. And I'm here to tell you that I raised 3 amazing humans, and they're adult children today, and they're the greatest joy of my life. But in terms of mindset, I think we all, like, it's a human condition that we all tell ourselves stories each and every day that just aren't true. And so we have conditioned our mind to believe that we aren't good enough. We're not working effectively enough. Everything is we're not, instead of focusing on who do you want to become. So we really try to shift, like, really consciously, the patterns of our thought, because it's really thought management. And that takes some time to shift that, but we've got to be intentional. My coach last year, I walk 3 times a week in the morning. And he would say, when you're on your walk, notice what you're noticing. And I thought that was so weird at first. I'm like, notice what you're noticing. Like, what thought are you carrying around in your head? What are you telling yourself at that moment? Notice it, because that's very telling. And one of the words that I hear a lot from my clients is, I heard it yesterday from someone you wouldn't expect, major national leader that I coach. And she goes, lately, I just feel like an imposter. We're talking about one of the nation's best, feels like an imposter. So if she feels like an imposter, imagine what the average originator. And Julie, when I launched my coaching and training company, I went into it consciously, because I left as one of the nation's top producers to launch a coaching and training company. And I walked away from all those titles you were talking about. I walked away from the title of National Success Strategist and the hundreds of awards on my desk. And, and I knew I was going into this consciously, but I suddenly was a leader with no one to lead, and it messed with me. And I think we've got to determine, like, who do we want to become and how are we going to get there, and making those choices for who you want to become. And so the imposter syndrome is comparison, and we all have it. I've done it too. Because when I launched my company, I'm like, well, is anybody going to come? And, they're supporting Todd Duncan and the core and this and that and all the great people in the world. But the reality is, I just kept coming back every day. And we have to do this as originators and leaders, is I just made a decision that I want to be the best Cindy Ertman I could be. I just want to be the best version of myself. And that was the coaching I gave to my leader client yesterday, is let's get clear on what your strengths are, and let's just go deep on those. You don't have to, she mentioned 3 or 4 other leaders that are doing all these things on LinkedIn. And it's like, but that's not who you are. So let's just get clear on you, and let's help you shine the biggest bright on light on your strengths and elevate you for who you really are. And your business will take off like nobody's business. So that's what we found.
Well, way to drop the mic. By the way, I hope we can clip this up and slice it and dice it, Tommy, and get it out, because I want people to know you. I'm rallying for you. I just think that your voice will carry some grace and healing and growth and just deliciousness for both men and women alike. But we get to grace you, or we get you to grace us with your presence at Women's Mortgage Network. Thank you for saying yes to me when I asked. I'm so grateful to you. I'm excited to spend the time with you. There'll be some more surprises for Cindy at Fuse as well. Thank you for joining us today. I think we're going to do maybe a variable income class, if I'm not mistaken, now with John Haddad. So we're going to hand it back to John and bring him back in, and I will be speaking to more. And I'm excited. I'm excited for our future with you with AIME. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you so much, Julie. Thanks, John.